So state regime media, known as Fox News, had like a mental breakdown live on air yesterday. They got the news that Donald Trump's approval in Texas right now has fallen to 43%. He's net 7 in Texas right now. This from the very reliable TPP YouGov poll. In addition, if you look at the overperformance numbers of Democrats, and now you add in the latest special election in Virginia, where the Democratic candidate Walkinshaw overperformed Democrats from 2024 by 16 points, you add all of that together. In total, Democrats are overperforming in special elections by plus 13 right now. And it's the first time in recent history where that's taken place. And Fox realizes that its propaganda is not working. So you have Jesse Waters, who brings on Kayleigh McEnany, who's Donald Trump's former propagandist press secretary. And Waters is like, the problem is prices are still too high. We can't trick the Americans. Can we just get the corporate executives together and have them fix the prices and make them all super low so that people can like Donald Trump right now? Like, listen to what Jesse Waters describes central planning of private sector work in order to help their dear leader. Play this clip.
And Bernie kind of alluded to it. He's like, he wears a nice suit. He's got a nice smile. And that can fool a lot of people. Trust me. I know, Kayleigh. But they're on to something with the prices and all that. I mean, prices are still high. Can't Trump just bring in some corporate executives and just say, hey, guys, there's going to be a socialist revolution in this country if you guys don't do something. Please do something. I mean, you could do this with the heads of these universities. I mean, these tuition rates are out of control. Why doesn't he just say, guys, we're going to investigate you guys for monopoly, price collusion. Get this tuition down. Get this stuff down.
Yeah, he's working on it. Look, Scott Bessent is the best of the best alongside Donald Trump. Scott Bessent said, I'm predicting Q4, you're going to see an accelerant on this economy. And already, if you look at it, 3.3% GDP growth, hundreds of billions of dollars of investment pouring into the United States. Donald Trump's cut taxes, deregulating. He has poured a fire on this economy. We're having to dig out from 4 years of Biden-era fecklessness. But we're getting there. And I can tell you this, by the midterms, I think you're going to have a very evident contrast between communist New York City and a thriving United States of America.
And then as this mental breakdown live on air took place throughout the day, they brought in MAGA Republican Congressmember Van Orden, who says, like, clearly that Donald Trump birthday card with his signature on it that looks just like his signature and all the other signatures we've seen in dozens of other things, clearly this is a forgery. The Epstein estate, they planned this 20 years ago, that they were going to create a birthday book with all of Epstein's other friends, and they were going to sneak in the card from Donald Trump in 2003 so that 20 years later he'd get busted. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. MAGA, they're so stupid. Here, play this clip.
Clearly, the birthday note from President Trump is a fallacy. It's just not true. And that's a leftist talking point. It's horrible.
I don't mean to be name calling. It's more insidious than stupid. I mean, these people are dangerous. They can literally see, as Donald Trump said, watch him shoot somebody on Fifth Ave. And they're like, yeah, but that's not him. That's his body double. Like, that's what they're saying. That's not the birthday card that he wrote. That's a forgery. So how does that theory work, that it's a forgery? The Epstein estate and the Wall Street Journal colluded to frame Donald Trump. And the way they wanted to frame it was with a birthday card from Epstein's 50th birthday in 2003 and use cryptic language like secrets and enigma. Like what I've said before, of all of the stuff that Donald Trump has said about Epstein, this birthday card, if you didn't imply sinister meaning to the words, it's probably one of the least bad things of Trump's Epstein connections. Heck, Mar-a-Lago was used as one of the grounds where the sex trafficking recruitment took place. Undisputed fact, right? Virginia Giuffre, underage girl, sex trafficked from Mar-a-Lago. So, and Donald Trump's like, she was stolen. So in terms of the stuff that's out there, this letter isn't all that bad until maybe enigma actually means gamines. Absolute, the secrets never age means girls. Dot squared kind of where you're leading us down the way you're behaving with this. And just think about it this way. The Trump regime thinks that what they're doing now is better than what's in the files. That's how you know how damaging the files are. Then you have Jesse Waters saying that he likes the term disappearing people. He's like, why is that a bad thing? I want to see people disappear. I voted for disappearing. You voted for disappearing. I mean, we literally have like freaking, like, in my opinion, this is like the type of stuff that you would see in like Nazi Germany. Or play this clip.
I don't care about disappearing. I'm not even offended. Tom Homan shouldn't have been offended. So what? Yeah, they're disappearing from the country. Exactly. That's what we were elected to do. Make these people, poof, disappear.
But even Republican from Kentucky, Rand Paul, is kind of fed up. As the Fox propagandist Will Cain is one of the hosts on Fox, he tries to say, look, of course the United States military should just be blowing up fishing boats if it, off the coast of Venezuela, if in its sole discretion, it believes they have drugs on it. And even Rand Paul's like, first off, like, how do you know it was going to the United States? First, Marco Rubio said it was going to Trinidad, number one. Number two, it's a small ship, so it doesn't even have the fuel, 24-footer, 16-footer, to get to the United States. Third, if it's Tren de Ariagua, they engage in human trafficking, so how do we know there weren't innocent people on there? And also, drug dealing of cocaine is not punishable by the death penalty in the United States. So who gives the Trump regime the authority to be judge, jury, and executioner to kill people? And then Donald Trump posts ISIS-style videos. Here, play this clip.
The other question nobody seems to have asked, one more question is, nobody seems to have asked, this outboard boat was 2,700 miles. How do we know it was coming to the U.S.? So they may be selling drugs in Trinidad.
We are the in-destination point for whatever percentage of drugs coming out of Central and South America.
Maybe. You don't think anybody in the Caribbean's using drugs? What if they're selling the drugs in Trinidad? Are we now the police for Trinidad?
Well, they always say,
are we going to blow up every boat? It's just insane. You can't blow up
what
every
I want to
ship
say, Senator,
that you
is
think
I always
might
get
have
this.
drugs.
Then state regime media gets super, super creepy. They bring on creepy dude, Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk talks about how Trump voters, young men, they want families, children, legacy. Young women, they support Kamala. They want careerism and loneliness. I mean, how misogynistic can you get here? Play this clip.
And this all kind of ties together. Trump voters, young men, they want family, children, and legacy. Young women who voted for Kamala Harris, they want careerism, consumerism, and loneliness. That is a dramatic divide that is going to play out in our politics for the years to come.
Then you have Charlie Kirk saying, you know, maybe we need to solve the loneliness epidemic by encouraging young ladies to get married and have children. Have those babies, ladies. I'm Charlie Kirk. This is just some creepy, creepy stuff here. Play this clip.
Charlie, what advice would you give young women who've been taught to put their careers first before even thinking about settling down or having kids?
I always get in trouble no matter how I answer this question, Laura.
Well,
so here it goes. Look, I'll say this, is that having children is more important than having a good career. I have 2 kids. I also have an amazingly blessed career. Our podcast is doing great, but my kids matter way more than how many social media followers that I have. And I would also tell young ladies, you can always go back to your career later, that there is a window where you primarily should pursue marriage and having children. And that is a beautiful thing. This is not about shaming. It's not about ridiculing. It's not about moralizing. It's about lifting up what is beautiful. And by the way, when we look at the mental health data, young women are not okay. Half, that is right, half of liberal white women say that they have some form of mental health issue that has been diagnosed by a doctor. What is the number one thing that mental health professionals will tell you when it comes to mental health issues? Loneliness does not help. So maybe we should solve the loneliness epidemic by encouraging young ladies to get married and have children. It's good for them, it's good for America, and it's good for our future.
Speaking of creepy, creepy stuff, you then have J.D. Vance having an interview with Laura Trump, Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, who has a show on regime media. And obviously Murdoch gives her the job on Fox in order to be able to, you know, do what he wants to do with Trump on the other sides by employing the family members. But anyway, J.D. Vance says to Laura, you know, it would not shock me, Laura, if I learned that Donald was actually a Marine. What does that even mean? It would not shock you to... Are you helping him steal the valor? Donald Trump, Cadet Bone Spurs, avoided the Vietnam War by paying for a doctor to write false reports that he had bone spurs 5 times. He dodged the draft. But go on, just dance, Vance. Here, play this clip.
That's right. Well, in ways big and small, actually. It would not have shocked me if I had learned after knowing him that your father-in-law had been in the Marine Corps, because, and of course he didn't serve in the Marines, but he has a very Marine Corps style of leadership where he's very willing to delegate and he trusts certain people. And when he trusts those people, he's willing to give them a task and say, go and do it, come back to me and report in a week. Whether you're a Lance Corporal or you're the Commandant of the Marine Corps, everybody has a few people that report to them. Everybody has a critical task that they have to do. And everybody is a critical part of that chain that connects us from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high.
Speaking of creepy, you have MAGA Republican Senator from Louisiana, Senator Kennan. He goes, I don't hate anyone, but Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, she is attractive and young. Okay, this is super gross. Here, play this clip.
Well, look, I don't hate anyone, Sean, but Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez is a creation of the media. She checks all the boxes. She's young. She's liberal. She's attractive. She's ethnic. Her problem is that she's shallow as a puddle.
Okay, but then to make things more super gross, you then have Laura Ingraham interviewing Katie Miller, Stephen Miller's wife, who's identified as a podcast host. That's her profession, podcast host. And she says the Millers are working hard to have more children, repopulating the country. Okay, that's pretty gross. Now, there are serious things that are happening in this world, right? Like yesterday, you had Russia sending drones to attack Poland. Here's how they covered it on Fox when that went down. Play this clip.
I told you got to have more kids. We got the declining fertility. You got to make it up for the rest of us.
The Millers will continue to have more children, single-handedly
Terrifying the
repopulating.
left hearing that.
That's why conservatives are having more children than liberals.
Yeah.
But then they had to cut into Donald Trump going to a restaurant down the block from the White House, Joe's Seafood in Washington, D.C., and he got booed mercilessly outside and inside the restaurant. But here's what Laura Ingraham has to say. Play this clip.
Air Force just now reporting Russian drones have entered Poland's airspace. Reuters is reporting the Ukrainian Air Force said on a messaging app drones were heading toward a Polish city near the border with Ukraine. Again, waiting for confirmation from Poland.
And finally, you have Governor Newsom sending this message to Just Dance Vance. Hey, couch boy. I'm not mimicking Dozy Don, I'm mocking him. Only someone with a law degree from Chuck E. Cheese could be as dumb as you, J.D. Vance. Here's what J.D. Vance said. Play the clip.
And as we head towards 2028, some of the people that the Democrats have potentially floated, we got to laugh at it, Mr. Vice President, as, potential nominees for Democrats running for president. What do you think?
Well, I don't think much of the modern Democratic Party. Obviously, I'm biased, but I look at these guys. I think some of them are trying to actually mimic President Trump. You can't mimic his style. He just is who he is.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe.